What's up?
Hello, hello. What's going on?
Back in the Tucker and the Beard studios.
It's like back in the saddle, I don't know.
In our subterranean headquarters.
I know, it's all secretive.
Deep underneath the heart of Prescott, Arizona.
I think we should get like some big bouncer dude that's like, it's like a speakeasy. You know,
right?
It's like a little sliding metal door.
We'll just turn the door to our studio into a bookshelf.
Yeah.
Make it look cool.
Yeah. Some secret passage.
Welcome back to the show, everybody.
Yes, welcome.
Thanks for hanging in another week. And yeah, just thank you guys so much for the continued support. We're super excited to do what we do, and we couldn't do it without you. So thank you guys so much for liking, commenting, subscribing. We could definitely, again, we're gonna reach out to the army here.
Yes.
and just ask you to go to iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts and rate and review the podcast. It really helps us get in front of more people. So if y'all could do that for us, we would greatly appreciate it.
Doesn't take a whole lot, but just a couple minutes. And if you do that, that helps us out. It's really been, catching on and everything. And we've been so appreciative and really, enjoying the support. But yeah, it takes off a little bit more.
Yeah, like I said, we're excited to be doing what we're doing, and we
Yes.
couldn't do it without your guys' help. So thank you.
Yes, thank you
again. All right.
So, yeah,
here's some things that happened.
we got some things.
The new Black Widow trailer.
I know that just,
And I say new, but what I mean is the first Black Widow trailer.
there's been a lot of things. This has been a long time coming. So it actually there was a teaser thing yesterday, I think, saying that it was gonna actually come out today.
Yeah.
We got a few different trailers that are gonna be popping out this week, but this one, this was kind of a little teaser to it. I'm super excited about it. I was just talking to you. There's a little bit of not weirdness in it, reactions of my family when we watched it.
Well, a lot of times, we're used to character development in the MCU.
Right. We're going back.
In case you don't know,
spoiler alert,
Black Widow didn't make it through Endgame. Yeah,
and I think that's kind of the weird thing.
So it's hard.
Yeah, I was kind of gauging my family's reaction because I was like, hey, this is... Unfortunately, I think that this should have been the first female-led Marvel movie.
I wish we could have had this before we had Captain Marvel. I
didn't dislike Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I'll admit to being apparently in somewhat of a minority of fans and saying I enjoyed Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I very, very much enjoyed Captain Marvel. I have nothing against it. I just wish this movie would have come out first, in the chronological order, because it's supposed to be after Winter Soldier and what happens to her character after Winter Soldier, which is super cool. But a lot of the characters that we've kind of said goodbye to after Endgame,
right, they kind of have to come back.
Right, they're still a thing. So it's kind of like, hey, we punched you in the gut. We dropped you for a little bit. We made you really, really sad.
Yeah.
This is kind of got to bring those back and be like, hey, remember that character you said that went away? Here they are.
Here they are.
So, but I'm excited. It looks really good.
It does. I'm excited for it. Again, I wish it would have come out sooner.
Yeah. That's my only criticism.
Also, I have to ask myself.
Myself.
Hey, self. No, but so the moment that we're referring to in Endgame was challenging.
Mm-hmm.
It was difficult to experience.
Yeah, it was a gut-wrenching moment.
Yeah,
emotionally draining. So it's kind
we
said goodbye.
I'm gonna be that guy, and if I had to choose between Hawkeye and Black Widow, I think I know who I would have chosen, and the story writers didn't choose the same as I would have chosen.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of I think it would have been a cool sacrifice on his end.
Yeah.
Because to get his family back, but I get it because he had the family. She didn't, but now
she does.
From the trailer, she kind of does have a family.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But Hawkeye's going to be doing the Disney Plus show.
Yeah, so we'll see kind of some of his, I think,
which
backstory.
I so want it to be like a family sitcom because it's just him with his family now.
He's just living the good life in the suburbs.
They're like, oh my god, it's like a Family Matters, but it's just the Hawkeye family.
Yeah,
the intros are just posing. Like old TGIF style.
So if Hawkeye's family is the Winslows, who would be their Steve Urkel?
Ooh.
Because Family Matters without Steve Urkel,
right? So we
would have lasted one season.
Yeah, we got to think some weird, obscure Marvel
Loki. Loki could be because he's mischievous,
right?
He causes trouble.
Yeah, but see, Steve Urkel always meant well.
It's true. Loki is kind of a schmuck.
Like, it's got to be like, hey,
I'm looking at our poster over here to see if I can pick out somebody who would be the Steve Urkel.
I don't even know.
Even, you know what, Rocket? Rocket might be a good comic relief.
Right.
You know, get on it.
Seriously, just be like some really goofy, obscure.
Or even, I mean, Peter Parker is kind of clumsy.
Yeah, and I don't think they're going to bring Peter Parker into just like.
But they could.
Mischievous.
Listen, they're not going to make a family style sitcom about Hawkeye and his family. So, since we're speaking in,
I know we need
never going to happen.
You know, Flash Thompson with the Flash Mob.
Right.
I think that's one of the greatest things that they ever did. So, yeah, either way,
I'm looking forward to all of that.
Yeah. But they got some big David Harbour's in it from Stranger Things fandom.
It's going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big deal.
Looks really cool. I'll see it.
Yeah.
My family's like, like, she died. Yeah, we kind of said it. And I'm like, stop it right now.
First of all, just because someone dies doesn't mean you don't go to their funeral and tell them nice stories about them.
Wow. That was. This
is like a wake.
Right. If they started out that way, that'd be really cool. I'd just be like, hey, let me tell you a story.
Here's the real story
about a girl named
Natasha.
So,
seen any good movies this week?
I've seen a couple different movies. The only one that I can think of is the one that we're reviewing today.
Okay.
But I've been hard into some Netflix and some Disney Plus.
Okay.
But yeah.
Different
stories.
I'm still fully.
Did you finish it?
Hooked on. Yes, I did finish the movie. Thank
Fantastic.
you very much. It took a while, not because it wasn't good, but because it was.
Yeah.
So it was like,
and I've
remember
got my
when
notes.
Martin Scorsese said not nice things about Marvel movies?
It was hard. It was hard to push past that.
And so I had to suspend that, but he was also like, and also I'm going to take their biggest movie. I'm going to make mine 28 minutes longer.
I know, and that's one of my notes. So yeah, our review...
It took a couple of sessions for me because I'm a busy guy and I rarely have time. Listen, speaking of Endgame, I have not watched it.
I haven't
since it's been available for home viewing.
Yeah, I own it.
I have Disney Plus.
Well, I was like, I own it. And I have it on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And I've still not sat down and watched it since.
Yeah, it's 3 friggin' hours. It's a lot of time to devote. And I already devoted 6 hours to it while it was in theaters.
Right. So, to those not aware of what movie we're reviewing this week, we streamed the new Netflix movie, The Irishman, the Martin Scorsese.
Which I will say, I'll jump out ahead of our full review because I actually saw a movie this week that I enjoyed more, and for a different, just in a completely different way and for a completely different reason.
Okay,
but it's the best straight to Netflix movie I've seen so far.
Okay, I thought you were going to talk about a different one that you watched.
No. I'm saying in reference before we jump fully into going into The Irishman and everything that it is. I will say that it's the best straight to Netflix movie that there's been. Okay. My opinion.
The Irishman?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were talking about a different one.
No, I went with... So we had... Black Friday was crazy in my household.
I took it off this year.
Oh, no. We did no shopping. It had nothing to do with shopping. It was just...
activities.
I worked in retail for almost 15 years.
Right.
I don't Black Friday.
Right.
There is... First of all, spoiler alert for everybody out there. That TV that goes on sale for Black Friday, it goes for sale in the same price in like July.
Right.
So, all that being said, I don't Black Friday because, well, I had to do it.
Oh, and same here.
Like hard. I had to be in my stores at 5 a.m. or earlier on the day after Thanksgiving, so I just don't participate anymore.
Yeah.
So we just had a really fun family day. It had snowed the whole night before, and there was a lot of snow around. So we spent the morning with cousins and uncles and aunts, and we all went and did some sledding. And this is right after the sledding is where things went a little sideways. I started telling you this story, and then we got busy doing other stuff.
I know,
so I told you I was going to save it for the podcast.
We've had one of those weeks where you and I have been in the middle of conversations
and had to stop and just go do other things.
And just be like, and I have felt bad for days because...
Well, I told you, I was like, don't worry about it. Save it for the show.
Well, I was going to say, because I called you that night, and I go,
You did.
And I was like, I'm sorry. Like, I just now thought of the fact of you were in the middle of the story.
Well, in all fairness, I was at the very beginning of the story.
I know, and it was not for a stupid reason that I had to go.
Yeah, no.
Hey, I gotta go.
Sometimes we get busy.
I was like, I gotta.
Other things take precedence over menial conversations.
No.
So yeah, we started off the day. We went sledding with the family. Mm-hmm. Had a great time. Snowballs were thrown. Videos were taken. Check out my Instagram. I did a little some slow motion stuff, and it was fun.
Yeah. I seen it.
And then, so we're over at my uncle's house, and I set down my car keys. Mm-hmm. Not a big deal, usually.
Okay, I was like...
And then the decision is made, let's go to the movies.
Right.
Great.
Okay.
Where's my car keys?
Fantastic.
We cannot find the car keys. And when we went back to my uncle's house, I was literally in 2 different chairs and the kitchen, helping the kids make some lunch.
Those 3 areas.
I was in 2 different chairs in the same room and in the kitchen.
Right.
That's it. 1, 2, 3.
Right.
There is not a lot of places these keys can be.
Right.
And it's in none of them.
Fantastic.
So we're scrambling, but we've already bought our movie tickets. So we all pile into other people's cars and we go to the movies. And we figure, we decide after the movie, I'm going to go, because we were at my other uncle's house the night before for Thanksgiving dinner.
Right.
And the weather turned real bad. So I left my car at my uncle's house and drove my wife and the kids home in her van.
Okay.
So I was like, fortunately, we have a car here in town. I will just, after the movie, go home, get our spare set of keys, come back, we can go home. Good, great, grand, wonderful. But it's still bothering me that we can't find these keys.
You still haven't found them?
Oh, no.
Oh, I thought I was like...
No, we have them now. We have them at this moment.
Right.
Because here's what happened.
Okay.
One of my cousins thought she was being helpful. And my aunt had left she had like a denim jacket that she had been wearing, and she was holding one of my little baby cousins. Mm-hmm. And it had like rhinestones and things on there, and she didn't want the baby cutting her face on the whatever. So she puts the jacket down and just happens to put it right next to my keys.
Okay.
So and I should preface this, like there's 40 people in this group.
Right.
So My other cousin...
You do not have a small family.
I do not. My other cousin, thinking she was being helpful, sees a set of keys and a jacket sitting right next to each other, decides, I'll just put those keys. They obviously fell out of that jacket.
Right, of course. Being helpful.
So, and all the while, one of my other uncles had left to go back out of town, and they drive a very similar vehicle to ours, and we're thinking, oh, maybe they grabbed them.
Right.
Maybe they just got swept away and put into somebody's snow gear. I mean, because they're not in the house anymore.
Right.
We're convinced of that. And so my aunt, who was visiting from Utah, took the jacket back to the aunt's home to whom the jacket belonged.
Wow.
And as I'm coming back from my house with the spare keys, I get a call saying, hey, we found the keys. Because that was the chain of events.
Wow.
There was no reason for us to look in that jacket pocket other than my cousin, who was like, hey, we've got I did put a set of keys into I'm omitting names to protect the innocent, because it wasn't it was not an intentional thing. I put this aunt's keys in her pocket. And we're like, well, that aunt left the house, so obviously weren't her keys.
Right.
And then it was discovered.
Wow.
All that to say, the movie that we went and saw...
I was going to say,
was
you got to segue
It's a Beautiful
into that.
Day in the Neighborhood, which was amazing.
Yes.
Nothing at all what I expected it to be.
Right.
But I try, we just talked about a trailer, but I really do try and avoid trailers anymore, just so I can go into a movie with no preconceived notions. Right. And also, trailers these days give away the movie way too much.
Well, yeah, I had a thing this morning when it was the Black Widow trailer that I thought about, like, I'm not going to watch it, and then I'll talk to you.
Yeah.
But the difference is...
But the force is strong with those trailers, and I can't help myself.
Yeah, not only that, but it was also the fact of... That was at, like, 5 o'clock in the morning.
That's about when I was watching it this morning.
What was it?
It was about 6.
Well, normally I have to get up a little bit early to get kids and stuff ready to leave and stuff.
You're not a weird hippie like me, and
usually
your kids.
Usually I'm like, hey, I get up at like 5, and you're like, no, I'm still asleep at that time. So I texted you this morning because my plans for the day kind of changed, and I felt bad enough.
Oh no, I was already,
already
going,
and it was like almost 8.
Yeah,
it was like 7:45. Calm down. And I know it's not that, but it's normally I don't like to get a hold of people before 8.
Yeah,
I think that's I'm
way.
like 8 and 8, like 8 o'clock at night. If it's 8:30,
I'm 8 to 7. That's when like my day begins and ends, unless I'm already in the middle of a conversation with somebody.
Right.
I don't like to reach out to people after 7.
Yeah.
Because then you just never, they could be having dinner, they could be trying to get the kids to bed, whatever.
Right. Like I've gotten stuff from like other agents, and they're like, oh, just reach out to your, client and stuff like that. And
it's
I'm like,
9:30. Yeah. We can do this tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I'll take care of it tomorrow. Thanks.
For sure.
And then it's like 8 o'clock. Okay. Hey. Yeah. Now I'm going to go ahead and call you. So.
But yeah, no, this movie, obviously, regarding Mr. Rogers.
Yes. I was like.
With the one and only Tom Hanks.
It looks really good.
It was. First of all, I thought it was really. I don't know how much other people noticed this, but I did. The whole thing was shot in 4:3.
Okay.
And I thought that was great because Mr. Rogers was never filmed in widescreen.
Right.
And so this taking place during, obviously when the show was being filmed, they shot the whole movie in 4:3.
Really?
And I thought that was a really nice touch that I don't know that a lot of people caught on to.
That's really cool because I've noticed, I can't remember what the other movie that we've recently watched that was like nostalgic, but like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like the way that was shot in the whole intro and stuff.
The details and
on just the way that it looked.
Yeah.
That's
from an aesthetic standpoint. And
what was the other movie that we just watched that was like kind of reminiscent? But like, and I didn't watch that, but I'm excited at the fact that there's these filmmakers that are doing that and bringing
taking
it back.
that. It's a detail that means nothing to nobody.
Right.
But it's still cool. And again, I don't know. No one in my family. I mean, and I'm sorry if you tried to hit the 4:45 showing of It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood at the Prescott Picture Show, because we bought out half the theater because that's what it takes for us to all go to the movies.
Because there's 40 of you.
And so no one else even noticed it, or if they did, they didn't mention it.
Right.
But to me, as someone who makes videos on a regular basis, and we film everything in widescreen.
Right.
But it was just, I was like, huh, that's kind of a cool little nod. But I highly recommend going and seeing the movie.
Did they talk about the time in his life where he was a Marine Corps sniper?
Spoiler alert.
I believed
he was never a sniper.
I believed that for the longest time.
A lot of admit it. And there was a little nod to the rumors of Fred Rogers' alleged badassery.
Right. Like I believed that for the longest time.
Yeah.
Like I had heard that and I was like, it makes so much sense. They're like,
killed 50 men. He
wears the sweaters to cover up his sleeves.
Yeah, because he's got bullets for every one of his confirmed kills.
I was like, oh my god! And this was like part of his therapy, his rehabilitation of trying to. And I was like, yes, no. So if they make that movie,
what they did was show that Fred Rogers was a man who truly saw the best in people, but also had his own demons that he had to deal with,
which is a really cool twist.
And it was a really cool introspective, in my opinion, and I highly recommend you see that movie.
Yeah, I'm going to try and catch that movie.
And by you, I mean you, but also you.
I know. I've been streaming things and stuff in the last week. It was one of those.
There's so much to stream.
What do we have next week? Oh, we don't. We've got a kind of.
Oh, I know what we're talking about next week.
We got some things to fill, and then after that,
we're going on a road trip on Thursday.
We are going on,
and we will be.
I was like, we need to talk about
that road trip, and
I'm so excited about it.
It may be the whole podcast next week. I don't know, but we're going on a road trip to the Reboot Road Show.
Yeah, super excited about that.
Do you have questions written out for Mr. Smith and Mr. Muse yet?
No, I mean I've got years.
You got to come up. You got to have one or two in the tank. You don't want to be on the spot in that situation, man.
So it's one of those things. I'm super, super excited about it. I apologize to all the fans that are like not as whatever as we are. I've been joking around with you because it starts at 9:45 at night.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long night.
Guess when I was laying down in bed last night?
Before that time. Yeah.
So it is. I have it already mapped out.
I was actually at 9:45 specifically. I was watching a chupacabra, in air quotes, documentary.
Okay.
Listen.
Fantastic.
I got sucked into to watching some Monster Quest.
Okay, some of those are pretty interesting.
It was pretty cool.
I was gonna start trying to watch some of that Gordon Ramsay Uncharted.
It's a killer show, man.
And I started doing it, and listen, my wife is deathly afraid of snakes, and the main picture, is him holding this gigantic snake.
Yeah.
So it was like, nope.
And we're out.
So
no, my younger daughter checked out when in the very first episode, and they're somewhere in South America, and they're roasting guinea pigs.
Fantastic.
But it's a thing that they do.
Yeah.
So, speaking of
just
things,
kind of a combination of a couple different shows. There's that one that's weird. It's the guy that goes around the world and eats like the weirdest things ever.
Yeah, that's with Andrew Zimmern, and then a little shades of Anthony Bourdain's No Reservations.
Okay.
Thrown in there.
I like it.
But yeah, let's talk briefly.
Delve into it.
Let's jump into The Irishman.
Yes.
An allegedly true story.
Yes, I have my review of good and bad, and I'm going to take the hit on how I watched it.
For sure, in chunks,
which I think is not the way to watch this movie.
No, it really is if you want the best experience, because what I did is I started watching and I watched about an hour.
Right.
And then I watched another hour on a different day.
Yeah. And
then I watched the third hour on a different day. But then I did go back through and watch it all in one shot.
Did you? Okay. Yeah. And that's what I'm feeling that I need to do is watch it all in one shot because I got lost in the mud. A lot.
And there's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of now and then. But
things were happening that I was just like, what? What are they even talking about?
According to the author of the book,
right?
I heard you paint houses.
Which, hold on, I got to back up real quick on this thing because I had started watching this movie, unbeknownst to me. I didn't know that you had not started watching it, so I sent you a random text of, "Hey,
have you painted the house yet?" And I'm like,
"Do you paint houses or something like that?"
Yeah, and I'm just like, "You must be sending this to the wrong person."
Which is so like me to just like. I think that I'm so hilarious at times, and I'm like, "This is going to be funny," and it falls flat.
It fell flat because I hadn't seen the movie. Nor did I realize that the movie was based on a book of that title.
Right.
Until after watching it.
Right. It's about Jimmy Hoffa. Well, so essentially, Jimmy Hoffa is a big part of it.
Jimmy Hoffa is a huge part of it.
Yeah. And so if you look up historically of who Jimmy Hoffa is and that he just disappeared one day.
Yeah.
Like, it is still not solved.
No.
And hasn't been for... When did it happen? 80? Was it in the 80s?
Late 70s, late 80s.
Okay. So it's been an unsolved crime for 40-something years.
And it's kind of a single point of view of the rise and fall of Jimmy Hoffa.
Right.
From the point of view of Frank Sheeran.
Right. And
who was a friend and kind of the longtime bodyguard
of Jimmy Hoffa. Who had a lot of previous mafia ties and everything like that. But it is the based true story or the version because this is from the writer actually interviewed this guy and before he died, admitted to killing Jimmy Hoffa. But there's still
a lot of speculation. There's been a lot of people who have admitted to the crime.
There's people that are like, I know who it was, but I'm not saying it. There's a guy and I can't remember his name, but
there are some people who claim the dude's still alive and he's just been hiding that well, or he died of natural causes,
couple
more
years
recently,
ago. Right?
Because he would have been a very, very old man by now,
right? But it was kind of a cool little twist on it. I don't know how to.
So let's skip the story because watch the movie.
Right.
But let's talk about the method.
Okay.
Because that's what was fascinating to me.
Okay.
Because we've got Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
Joe Pesci. Al Pacino.
Right.
All three of these men.
There was Harvey Keitel.
Harvey Keitel was in there.
Ray Romano.
Yeah. Who? I mean, he's one of those guys.
You forgot he was Ray Romano.
And you forget how incredible Ray Romano can be.
Yeah. He's not just like Everybody Loves Raymond, like silly shtick.
Not at all.
Like he did some good work in this.
Truly did. So you don't just have that.
Mm-hmm.
You have. They had to make these guys look young again.
This is possibly one of the best. I'm going to throw it down there. I throw the best age regression and progression.
Yeah.
That I've seen because and kind of watching it. I've seen many Martin Scorsese movies and everything like that, but I forget. I don't want to say they jump around, but they kind of jump around. Like you're going over here and it's like, hold on, before we go any further, we got to explain this.
Yeah.
And he kind of jumps around and flash. And this is a movie. It starts with Robert De Niro, who's Frank, and it's him old in the nursing home.
Telling his story to somebody who we don't really know who he's telling it to.
I think it's kind of the book writer, the author, point of view. But It starts with that, but then you go, okay, we're going all the way back to the beginning when he was young and met a young Joe Pesci. You know what I mean? And they're both young, and they're, and then it's just them aging and cuts back to him being old. But wow. Like, it was,
you don't expect this from a straight to streaming film.
Right.
And I mean, they spent a ton of money on this movie, like $158 million.
Really? I was going to say, because it could be the trade-off just on those effects alone.
Well, you look at big production shows, even like the one that comes to mind for me is The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Okay. So they have all of the makeup that they do. They do amazing practical effects,
right?
In
but
the
special
Dead.
Effects are.
But then you get an explosion or a fire, and you're like, come on,
right?
Like, divert a small amount of the budget into. I could make that fire in iMovie,
right?
Right. I've seen better stuff done by kids,
right?
This did not suffer that same fate.
No, and it is very. I mean, it's very R-rated. Throw that out there. I mean, but
there's blood and gore, and the amount of language you certainly expect from a Scorsese gangster movie.
Right, exactly. But I mean that he is a hitman.
Yeah,
and so it shows him being a hitman.
Yeah, a house painter. Was slang for a hitman.
Right.
Someone who and there was. I can't actually say enough good things about the movie, despite our recent dispute with Mr. Scorsese and his opinions of movies that we love.
I had a nice little laugh because Endgame was 3 hours and
3 hours and 1 minute.
3 hours and 1 minute,
if I remember correctly. 3 hours and 29 minutes.
And he criticized it for not being like whatever, and then he's like, hold my beer.
Yeah.
And comes out with a 3.5 hour long
epic
mafia, movie.
Yeah. Which is because again he said, the problem with comic book movies, he walked back his statements a touch.
Right.
So the problem with comic book movies is they don't give you anything you don't expect. And I can tell you exactly what I expect from a Martin Scorsese mobster movie is for it to be half your day.
Right.
So I expected that.
Right. Well, it wasn't that long ago when Casino was on TV, and I, started watching it, and then it was quickly, and I'm like, God, I forgot how long this thing is.
Yeah.
And there's no real scenes that I can think of where it should have been cut or anything like that.
No, I think it needed everything it had.
How I kind of wish that it would have been done because it was on Netflix or something. Do like three episodes.
Yeah, they could have made it into a limited series.
Like a little recap before each little episode, because it was... there was numerous times where I got confused. But
Martin Scorsese would never have agreed to making it a 3-part limited series, though.
Right.
That was never going to be in his...
Right. Or have it be an option where it's like, listen, you can sit down and watch this 3.5 hour long movie as one whole thing. Yeah. Here you go. Or you can do it
if you only have
Netflix special.
Yeah, if you only have an hour right now.
Well, because it was by the time I was sitting down watching it, it was, 10 o'clock at night. Where it's just like, do I really want to be staying up? And it was just kind of like, okay, I'm fading. All right. And it took me a few days to get through it.
I do recommend spending the time to get through it in one shot. It is a better movie that way.
And that's why I'm trying to be fair to it, because of the fact of the way I watched it. I think I lost things in there where it was like, oh, hey, I got to start this up,
For sure.
And then it's like, wait, I forgot he talked to this guy and whatever. So
camera might not be rolling.
Okay.
Who knows?
I don't know. I'm not seeing anything over there. Yeah. So what's up, podcast?
You
people?
might just be seeing, if you're watching this video, you might just be seeing our logo in the background,
which is a fantastic logo, by the way.
It really is. I like it a lot. Anyway,
so,
we do have to run because I'm excited. We're going to go meet with the winners of our small business Saturday drawing that we had. So we're heading over to Hard Ass Customs.
Yeah. Thank you to everybody that helped out with that. We, surprise, I'm going to be reaching out to a lot of the businesses that were nominated.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a second place prize, but really I don't think that there's any second place in this.
No, we're super excited to be meeting with all of these folks.
Yeah.
And also, you guys, if you had been watching, again, the camera may not be rolling anymore.
I don't know.
But if you noticed the beanie that I was wearing earlier,
yeah,
that one is courtesy of our friends over at the Family Grind.
I know. I haven't gotten mine yet.
They're not
Family
a sponsor, but they're cool people who make a mean cup of coffee.
Oh, they make a fantastic cup of coffee.
So anyway, all that being said, we got to get to a meeting. Watch The Irishman. Watch It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. And be excited for Black Widow when it comes out next May.
Yes. There you go.
Until next time, he's Tucker.
He's Beard.
And we are out.